Greetings. War is eternal. War is universal. There is no beginning, and there is no peace. Nor could there ever be, even if the beast man desired it so. For man is subject to the same law which governs all living things, and this law dictates that every living thing maintain its existence exclusively by depriving other living things of theirs. So it has always been, and so it shall ever be. Man is a beast of prey. History proves that man is a beast of prey. The beast of prey conquers countries, founds great realms for the subjugation of other subjugators, creates states and organizes civilizations exclusively to enjoy his booty in peace. Attack and defense, suffering and struggle, victory and defeat, domination and servitude, all sealed with blood. This is the entire history of the human race. That was a quote by Richard Wagner, who wasn't much of a naturalist, but I'll shoot this video out to you vegans and stick to plants mostly. When I go through one of those stupid middle-class neighborhood streets in Cincinnati and I see these trees lining the street, I see them as an obscenity. And when I go to another place and I see a tree decaying, I see it as kind of but it's still kind of living, it's growing up still. I see it as another kind of obscenity. All these trees are growing skyward toward the sun, trying their utmost, their damnedest, to reach out to the sun and thereby deprive sprouting trees of the sun that they need to grow up and become taller trees. So there is competition for energy even among trees. So a tree at its most beautiful to me is when it has fallen in one of the few great parks in Cincinnati and I get to see the moss overtake it and prosper, and I get to see the holes that the insects have bored in it, profiting off of its decay and its wetness and its how everything is disintegrating. That's when I really think a tree is most beautiful. And wow, I'm not sure where I'm going with this. I guess knowing that I'm a living thing just like everything else, I don't buy eggs in a grocery store or pork in a grocery store or chicken. Well, I don't buy chicken a whole lot. I like pork, but whatever. You get the idea. I buy cage-free eggs, but I don't know if they're lying to me or not. You think I'm a lawyer? I don't. I'm not that guy who goes to the farm and sees if the operation is being carried out in the way that I want it to. What does that even mean, cage-free? You literally go around the farm and pick up eggs that you just randomly find on the ground that these chickens lay. You don't feed them any hormones. You don't feed them shit. You know? Do you humans honestly think that domesticating your animals and slaughtering them is somehow more dignified than hunting them? which you did for hundreds of thousands of years? I don't think so. I mean, if anything, it's worse. I mean, you're depriving those animals of their dignity during their own lifetimes. They're not exactly having good times until then, except at feeding time, which you've conditioned them to enjoy. I think that's even more obscene and disgusting. Um, so the thing is, I'm gonna make this a short video, and I'll just tell you, some of you are followers of this channel. I wish I had more, but I think maybe I will later on. But some of you might wonder, like, oh, why is this guy wearing a crucifix on his neck? And I'll tell you how I got it. I didn't buy it. I was in a mental hospital, one of many times I've been in a mental hospital. And I was reading the scriptures, and this guy who was in the room where I was reading it, which was a public room on the ward, he just took his necklace off, and he said, I want you to have this. It cost me $300. It may or may not have. It's pretty nice. I like it. But he gave it to me, wanted me to have it, and so I've worn it pretty much ever since. And what it has kind of come to mean to me, I think as a result, I have taken Christianity more seriously, although I do see it in a more Buddhist sense, that kind of life is a cycle of suffering, and you just you can't avoid being unhappy with this imbalance, this sort of vampirism that goes on with all living things. But not as a man. Not as a man does Jesus mean anything to me. He means something as a living thing. Um, I think that the idea, whether or not you believe in God, just the idea of something that an entity that doesn't exist on the basis of earthly metabolism incarnating himself as a living thing, that necessarily validates my existence as a living thing. And I have to seriously consider whether or not I want to continue that cycle of incarnation by having a child of my own, or whether I just want to just be me. I'm going to end it pretty much here. I'll say that, you know, no matter how successful you might think that these crooks on Wall Street are, these mega rich, or no matter how poor you are, or, you know, maybe you're a middle class family who's just having your first kid, or you've got 3 kids or something like that. Failure, earthly failure, is the norm. It's the norm. Life is basically about a spiritual struggle, and that is the one that you have the best hope of winning. And I hope you guys all find something in your life to help you succeed. Goodbye.